still going to try to keep it concise because I do want to jump into drawing. All right, so without further ado, y'all, this is the Patreon page. You got 6 tiers altogether. First one is the official patron for $2 a month. Not too expensive. You get access to the Discord server. I'm going to start doing credits, so as a thank you, your name is going to be listed in the credits at the end of the stream, and you'll get access to the patron-only community. And tier 2 is all access patrons, $5 a month. You get early access to finished pages way before anybody else sees it, way before it's posted on any other social media. You guys will get the VIP pass in a sense. And you'll also get exclusive content. So things that aren't going to be posted on any other social media, it's only going to be for patrons. You'll have access to that as well, starting with tier 2. You'll also get access to the Discord server like the previous tier, where pretty much everybody from all the tiers, all the social media could come into this one channel on Discord and talk with each other, get to know each other, talk about a stream, talk about the most interesting movie you've seen so far, whatever it is, really. Get to know each other, build a community, and share your ideas, thoughts, and expression. That's really what our lounge is about. Then we got tier 3, which is the critique submission tier. If you're working on something, you want to submit your work and have it critiqued live on stream, it's $15 per month. There isn't currently a cap to how many times you could submit. You can work on it and send it to me again over Discord, and I will stream it and show you ways you could improve your drawing, give you some tips and tricks on how to improve, that sort of thing. And you'll also get promoted on stream for your social media. So if you got a DeviantArt, if you got an Instagram, or whatever it is that has more of your work for people to see, include it when you submit your work, and I will show it on a stream. Now, quickly going over to the next one, we got the Kickstarter patrons, which is $25 a month. You'll be the first few to have a high resolution digital painting of you done on stream, which is going to be on Thursdays. The tier 3 critique is going to be on Fridays, so Thursdays and Fridays for 2 hours I'm going to be doing these tiers. So yep, I'm gonna be doing a high resolution digital painting of you that I will send you once I'm finished with it, and you could do whatever you'd want. You could make it your profile photo for social media platforms, send it to a loved one. It's yours. You can keep it and do whatever you like. Then we got tier 4, artist promotion. If you're an intermediate artist, if you're an advanced artist, you guys can send in a 5-minute video that I will show on stream. Get exposure to all sorts of social media platforms that I'm going to be advertising before I start the stream, during the stream as well. I will be posting a link to your website so people can visit and see more of your work that you're promoting. I highly encourage you guys to take a look and read through all this stuff. I'm just giving a brief overview. There's some requirements there. There's some things you guys should know about before you join the tiers. So take your time, read through it. You could also visit the video in the collections tab. There's a highlights section where you can go to and you could see that stream. It's called Patreon Page Launch and Schedule Change, where I go into each tier in depth, talking about what's going on in each one of them there. All right, so moving on quickly to tier 5, private tutoring. It's limited to 15 people. It's all the time I have at the moment. You will get 4 videos per month, personalized just for you. So when you join this tier, you send me your work. I'm going to create a video showing you how you could improve on it, what you could do with it to make it look better. And I will also send you that PSD file that I'm going to be working on so you could explore it on your own time. And yeah, just learn from that. I will also be giving you guys some homework to do so that way you can improve. You know, I think once a week isn't enough. You'll have something to work on throughout the week, and more for me to look into when I do the next video. You'll also get a personal channel with me, just one-on-one. That way nobody else has access to it. You could leave me questions, you could leave me comments, And you could leave me your progress, so that way I can, I could send you the video for it next week. And along with that, there's also all other tier benefits there as well. So you could look through that as well. If you guys have any questions, post away. Send me a message in chat. Send me a message through other social media that you could see on the Twitch channel, and I'll write you back. I'll be glad to answer any questions you guys got about any of these tiers. All right, y'all. That's pretty much it. You could access this Patreon page on the Twitch channel as well with all the other social media links. Let's dive into the project stream. So I did do more work. Just some minute details to improve here and there. As I mentioned, 1 hour is not enough. That's just very little time spent on it. I usually spend like 4 or 5 hours at least. But granted that I have other projects to attend to, time is limited. The biggest enemy is time. So I might, looks like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff already done. So I might start jumping into colors today. We do have a good chunk of time. I think I'm just going to spend a little bit of time changing some things here and there. Trying to improve things here and there. For instance, it was a little too bunched up over there. Kind of want to avoid that overly technical look, in a sense, and give the hair a little bit more freedom. And that's something that really took me some time, actually, when I was drawing. When I was younger and I was like learning all these different things. Not to say I'm not learning still. I feel like I'm always learning. But back then, it was more of a challenge for me to draw hair and to make it look good, in a sense. It kind of looked like, when I would draw it, it kind of looked like those Legos with the helmet hair. You just plop them on top of the head. It didn't really have much character. It didn't have much line work or anything. It just kind of gave it this like external sort of shell of a look, and it just didn't look right. And by just studying other comic book artists and trying to draw hair from like from references, from real life, from photos, and just doing my best with it, eventually stumbled upon something that I like. Just another example of how like drawing constantly and drawing from all sorts of references really helps. Really helps the process. And I think like picking a really good photo makes a big difference. Like picking a photo that has some good contrast, you know. And what I mean by contrast is like you could see the line that defines the nose, for example, or you could see the shadows pretty distinctly, and that way you could really study it. You could really see the outer edges of facial features, that sort of thing. Because when I was working on the previous project, and for those of you who have stuck around and saw the previous ones, I worked from some terrible photos. Like the last one was a video snapshot. Like I just really liked how the musician was playing and how into their music they were, and I just kind of took a snapshot of that moment and just worked from that. But the bad part about it was that it was really difficult to see certain like external lines, like for example seeing the shape of the nose, whereas in this reference, in this photo, it's very clear. So I spent less time trying to like find exactly where that line is, and more just trying to like develop it. It was a challenge, that's for sure. I mean, talking about earlier about like leveling up and challenging yourself and putting yourself in positions where you're uncomfortable. You're not like, oh, you know, this is simple. I could do this. And you do it in like a short period of time. And this was the total opposite of it, because of the lines being so blurry. It really took me a long time to draw out or finish rather the entire project. Whereas this hasn't really been that long. I want to say it's been about a week, considering that I don't stream it as often anymore. Before it was every day, 5 days a week. Whereas now the project stream is limited to 3. And depending on how the critique and Kickstarter patrons go, it might be limited to just once a week. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, should I just jump into it? Should I start doing color? Or should I spend a little bit more time trying to perfect the lines? I'm going to work on this part of the hair, and I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to jump into doing color. I always feel so hesitant about it because I'm like, is it enough? Did you do enough? You know, in my head, I'm just questioning how much effort I've put into it. And I think it's just better to like move on to the next stage, and if it's necessary, revisit the previous stage at some point, which I almost always do. Like I start out hesitant. I'm like, oh, I should try to improve the lines more. I should try to define more features. I don't want to rush it. But then once I start the next stage, I still do it anyways. I still go back and I still make some corrections and anatomical adjustments, that sort of thing. Just as hard as it is for me personally to start, it is also hard to stop as well. Like, I always feel like you could do better on the project that you're working on. You could make it look even better than it is. Sometimes it's good to just let it go, and that's something to learn as well. And I'm still trying to figure out a good balance there, like not letting it go too soon, but also not obsessing over it and overworking it. That's one positive I could say about not streaming the project stream so often, is that it gives me a good break, in a sense, you know, giving me time to just kind of refresh my eyes. Speaking of eyes, I'm really excited about drawing her eyes. She has very unique eyes. They're gray, green, and blue. More on a gray, greenish side. It's a very interesting color. I don't think I've seen it recently, or any time recently. I think that's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards her as a subject. It's a very unique eye color. This is something that I also try to avoid, is like connecting lines, in a sense. Like this line of the neck, it shouldn't be connecting with like the shoulder line, because then it kind of seems like it's one of the same. So if you guys noticed it before, you see how it's like, it almost feels like it's continuing into the shoulder. That's not a good thing to do. You want to make sure that if the lines are from a separate section of the drawing, they should be separate from another section in the drawing. They shouldn't meld into each other, in a sense. Should I do it? Alright, I'm gonna add another detail. This is what I'm talking about. It's so hard to do it. To just start. It's kind of like the pool thing, you know, when you're like standing or like trying to get into the ocean and the water's cold and you're just like, I should just do it. I should just get in. But there's that party that hesitates to jump in. It feels the same when it comes to the stage where I'm like, I should just do it. I should just jump in and start the next stage in a drawing. And then there's a part of me that's like, no, not yet. Not just get your feet wet a little bit. And I think like that's the same voice that procrastinates about everything or puts off everything. You know, and you're like, I really should sit down and draw. And it's like, but you could just do that in a minute. Why don't you look on your phone a little bit more? You know, it's that voice. I call it the brat voice. You know, it's a bratty side of you that just doesn't want to do what's right. You know, that doesn't want to do something that's outside of the comfort zone. It's that bratty voice that stops you from improving your life and takes you into like your cocoon of comfort. And when you start taming it, when you start saying no to it and really doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's when you start to see results. Still lives in a lot of us. I mean, that's really, I think, the difference between being an adult. Being a responsible adult is like somebody who learned to tame the bratty voice. I think it's a lot smaller than it is on my drawing. It's like somewhere there, I want to say. I think like even people in their 60s, people in their 70s still have it. That voice that tells you like, oh, not now, let me do it later. You know, when we were kids, and it was like bedtime and you didn't want to do it because you wanted to stay up and play games or whatever it was that you were doing. That voice just never really goes away unless you really start taming it. So all of us still have the kid in us in a sense. And that's the kid. That's the one that tells you like, no, don't do that now. Watch some TV, you know, or just sit there and browse through social media. It's that same voice that told you when you were a kid not to go to bed, not to do this, not to do that. But once you stop giving into it, that voice, once you stop listening to it, then you start getting really good results. All around, whatever it is that you choose to pursue, because you know it's going to come back, but you've grown thick skin against it, and you know how to dismiss it and just push past it. And say, nope, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I know that's going to make me feel better. And I'm going to get closer to what I want to achieve. I think that's also where a lot of depression comes from for people as well. Because they spend so much of their time giving into that voice that when they reflect back and they're just like, where did all my time go? Why haven't I achieved any of these things that I keep wanting or keep telling myself that I want to achieve and never really getting there? It's because they never tamed that child in us, that voice that says, no, not now, not today. Let's come up with a good excuse. And then before you know it, you're like 60 and you've come up with so many excuses, but nothing has been achieved. Ooh, it's terrible. I was just talking to somebody, actually was talking about that issue. How one day they just didn't realize where their life has gone. And they were in their like late 50s. And I was like, hey, it's better that you realize now than even later. And that's even worse. So at least, thankfully, that person came to that realization before it was even worse. And I commend that, actually. That's even harder. Like when you are much older and you realize that you have to change, otherwise you're going to continue in that same pattern that like sucked all your time away. That's even more challenging because you're just like, oh, now I got to reprogram myself to do all these other things instead. A lot of people are just like, no, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing. And it just gets worse and worse. But yeah, as I got older, I stopped listening to that side, that child side in a sense. Whoops. I am unsatisfied with this chain, to be honest. Like if I was to pick at anything on this, I would say it's the chain. I'm just gonna get rid of this. Doesn't really do much. It's just nitpicking detail. It's unnecessary. This is probably like the blurry part of the image. That's probably why I'm wrestling with it so much. It's because it doesn't really show itself clearly, and I'm kind of like improvising. I think this is what it looks like. Also don't want to make it too straight. I'm going to cheat a little bit, you know. A lot of people don't consider it that. I just feel like it's a cop-out from trying to learn how to no, that's not doing it. Perspective, distort, free transform, mesh. There you go. Yeah, like I feel like it's a cop-out from drawing it right. You know, you're using this tool that allows you to remember it. Like, oh, if anything goes right, I could always refer to that. And if anything goes wrong, I can always refer to this tool and fix it. And I feel like that kind of takes away from you learning how to draw better. So rather than me remembering like, hey, draw the guideline for it, like, you know, instead of it going into detail, just draw this curve that it takes, and then build on top of it. Like, that's the right way to go about it. As you guys could see, I'm still battling out some bad habits. That's why I always mention it's better to just learn good habits so you don't waste your time trying to unlearn them. See, it kind of looks better. It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna turn the AC on. I'll be right back, ladies and gents. All right. I also see that she has like a tattoo right by her ear, but I'm going to draw that with color. It's very vague. I can barely see it, but I think it will be an interesting color. Alright, y'all, I think I'm ready to get into this coloring mode. This is the next stage. Right after I draw this gap. This is supposed to be the gap between the hair and the forehead. To just kind of break it up a little bit. job for zooming in. The challenge of Wacom tablets. There's a disconnect. You know, you're not looking at, like, if you're doing it traditionally, you're looking at the pencil, you're looking at the paper. Kind of helps with, like, guiding the right lines, but there's a disconnect when it comes to this Wacom tablet, which is why you guys see me erase so much until I get the right line. Nah, that's not it either. Maybe just keep it simple. Right there. Looks about right. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna do it. I am gonna jump into the coloring phase. So I'm gonna create a new layer, and that's very important. It's extremely important. And I'm gonna start off with the hair. She also has a very unique hairstyle that I dig. I'm wondering if it was inspired by Cruella. And I've been seeing that a lot actually now, like on Instagram. I'm seeing a lot of women, girls, coloring their hair in this bi-color. Oh, that's a little too gray there. I want to say it's more on the yellowish side. That's right. It's like an ivory color. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this lately. And I'm wondering if it was inspired by that movie Cruella. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. I think it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. It is, for those of you who don't know, it's with Emma Stone, and it's a story about the woman from 101 Dalmatians, like how she became who she was. But the story is very unique, like how it's done, how it develops, and I think Emma Stone is a really good actress. So she does a pretty good job there. I really enjoyed it, and there were some funny scenes there. And it was very creative. That's the other thing. That's what I really liked about it. I mean, it was about fashion for the most part. And you get to see some really interesting designs there. And I didn't think I would actually enjoy it as much as I did. Like, I came out surprised. I was like, wow, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not the type of movie I would usually watch, but I do like her as an actress. And the preview looked really good. The cinematography is really good as well. I like the cinematography there. It's beautiful, actually. There are certain scenes that are very well done. And I really did enjoy it. But after that movie, I started noticing that a lot of women were doing this, like, split color thing. I'm going to start the skin color on a different layer because it's important. Like, at some point I'm going to want to change the hue, right? I'm going to want to adjust. This is the other beautiful part about digital painting, is you could I'm just going to go over it and then erase the stuff that I don't like. And you guys will see how this is going to be a good example of why you should have everything on a different layer, kind of like all the different parts. The obvious one, you could see that the line layer is totally separate from everything, so I could just erase anything I don't like and the lines are still going to be there. Just kind of doing this like quick cover up. As much as possible, not spending too much time on it. And now I could zoom in and just erase stuff that I don't like. And none of the other layers are going to be affected. So the color layer for the hair is going to still be there. So it's just more of like a trick to make sure that all the layers are on there. You preserve the colors, I mean. You could do quick jobs that way, and you don't have to feel like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do double the work if I don't make the line exactly as it should be. And I like to put a lot of things on separate layers because then I play around with it. You know, I could really just change whatever. And you'll see it's multiple use in other areas as well. The challenging part is remembering to switch back. So like if I wanted to do more work on like the color, the hair color layer, I have to remember not to do it on the skin color layer. Otherwise it will turn into a lot of work where I'm like, oh damn it. Now I have to erase that, and it's gonna also erase, like for instance here, if I was to do it on the skin color layer, it would erase the hair and the skin color, and then I would have to go back and do the other one too. Oops. I just want to involve a different process. Like, you know, I'm spending so much time getting into the nitty-gritty details, right? Like you guys saw prior to jumping into color, it was just so tedious to do it. And I do enjoy that, but I like taking a break from it as well. So it's like a nice balance, you know, starting out with sketching out the face and doing like these quick gesture drawings to going into the new stage of like then defining them and really trying to shape it and correct things, to then giving things more detail, you know, and then getting really intimate with the drawing, to taking a break from it and just like quickly coloring everything in. You know, so just kind of full circle there, and it's a nice break. You know, I really do like that process. I'd rather it be that way than continuously just be in like meticulous mode, where even in color mode I'm just like taking my time and really making sure it doesn't go out of line, you know, and everything is like perfectly drawn. Like it's nice to just forget about that and just do these like really messy lines. And not worry about any of that stuff. So before I end the stream, I just wanted to show you guys real quick the benefit to doing this. I'm actually going to color this darker because it's in the shadows. It shouldn't be the same skin color. It's like somewhere there. Actually, it's like and I feel like even that should be on its own layer. All right, so just as an example, like, okay, maybe I just don't like the skin color. Now, since it's separate from the hair, I can actually play around with it. Change even the hue, make her look kind of alien. Which is kind of cool, actually. I mean, she has such beautiful features that any skin color would still make her look really good. But yeah, just as you guys could see now, the hair isn't affected, it's just the skin color, and it's like really helpful to have that be the case for that's nice. I kind of like that. That looks like a healthy skin color. I'm saving the best for last, which is, as I was mentioning, our eye color. So I'm going to get into that next time, y'all, because fortunately, I do have to end the stream. It was a lot of fun. Thanks to all you guys joining the stream, checking it out. I will be back tomorrow, same time and place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more Drawing Basics at 8 p.m., followed by Coloring Comics. It's going to be a different stream, but the project stream is going to be back on Thursday, so at 9 p.m. So you can check back in, see what the progress is like there. Can't promise you I won't work on it some more on my own personal time, but maybe it will just be on the stream. It really depends on how much time I will get. So if you guys enjoy this content, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out the Patreon page for those of you who are just tuning in. It's available on the Twitch channel and listed with all the other social media platforms as well. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to make some comments, leave it in the comments, in the chat, or in the other social media. I'll write you guys back, and I will see you soon.